Hello and welcome to this week's episode of BroPartisan Hacks. It is the March 27th, 8th? I don't know.
Today's the 28th.
Yeah,
My
there you
computer
go.
says so
I
right there.
I should know. My anniversary was Friday. Um and so like I
Did you get
was
to go do the things that you talked about?
Yeah, we were able to go. It was super fun. We went to this place called Upstairs Circus, and it's a crafting thing. I didn't finish. I had dinner reservations. I only allowed for 2 hours, um, and I needed three. So I brought it home unfinished.
You know what? That's okay.
Well, it was
Did
cool.
you?
You could had a full service bar at the place. It was pretty fun. Pretty fun little deal. And then we went and stuffed our faces at Texas Day Brazil.
So
Um,
y'all crafted and drank, and then went and ate way too much meat.
oh my gosh. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Oh yeah.
It is everything's so amazing. I ordered uh I brought home 2.5 dozen of those cheese buns. I don't know what they're called. It's like paella de queso or something like that. This is my favorite thing.
They're called
This is my favorite
delicious.
thing.
That's
It's
what those are. Yeah, those cheese buns at the Texas. We have the fogo
and
de chao down here. It's like the same thing.
so the funny thing is I remember being a kid and going to the big Thanksgiving thing with Granny down there,
Uh-huh.
and somebody made those, and I just remember stuffing my face with those, like just like shooting them like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And then so another funny thing is uh, we've made them here. Like we looked up a recipe, got all the ingredients, which is actually pretty hard to find because it's made with like tapioca flour or some shit like that.
Mhm.
Cassava root. I don't know. Anyway, so you have to like get this special flour. I mean, it is a process. It is a labor. And so looking back, I'm like, every time I was eating those, just drilling them, it's like somebody spent 3 hours on that shit. Like it's, it is
And
a
you just ate them. How could
and
you?
I, right, and I was just eating them by the handful. Uh,
I
so
remember
of
that.
course I was also doing that yesterday, says because I brought 2.5 dozen home, so I was just pounding them, even though they charge like $6 a dozen. I don't care. They're
Doesn't
amazing.
even matter. Yeah. So you have like two or three dozen, or just?
Yeah. So I have a dozen left, and no one else ate them but me. They're my favorite thing. It's the most amazing thing.
I always like
Uh,
their like Brazilian sausage in those places, and the lamb. Cause I don't eat a lot of lamb. It's like cook that too
yeah.
much.
We so I had this garlic fillet. It was the most garlicky thing I've ever eaten in my entire life, and I've eaten cloves of garlic.
Yeah.
Like,
This was more garlicky than actual garlic.
I'm telling you, but it was delicious. Like that's the crazy thing. It was really amazing. I don't know. I got nothing.
Oh dear. Did you see this? I wanna show you something. No, I gotta move. I gotta show you this. All right. Oh, the Ted Cruz documentary style video with the border.
I have not seen. I saw some like hints of that to Twitter, but
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. It. Damn it. Struggling here. He so he did this, and yeah.
So it's past midnight. I'm standing on the
hear it.
shore of the Rio Grande.
He's basically saying it's past midnight. I'm standing here at the shores of the Rio Grande, and there's people over there, and I can hear the traffickers and the cartel members mocking us. He's just doing it like he's like some Vice reporter, you know, like out there in the streets, like, so hey guys,
like Steve Irwin.
Yeah,
Right over there.
Right over there is a dangerous group of individuals.
Let's get a closer look.
I see what happens when I thump it on the head. No, it's not actually Steve Irwin. So yeah, so this happened. Heckled by drug cartels at the Mexican border. Like, this is the part where the Velociraptor comes out and eats him.
Right on.
He's definitely not in a hotel. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, no, I saw this yesterday, and I didn't add it to the list, but I had it pulled up still from yesterday when I was looking for it.
What is that article called?
This is a Guardian article, and that's basically where they're just talking about him being mocked for it. But like this like he took like 18 something senators down there from other states. Like, hey guys, we're gonna go to the border. We're gonna videotape this ourselves and capture him coming across the river and
live footage from the banks of the Rio Grande.
Live footage. The water is right behind me.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I can't even front. Like, I'm not
senators.
a beard. I'm not a Ted Cruz fan. But the beard is working for him.
He definitely is less monster, like Grandpa Munster.
Yeah,
that's what he always reminded me of. So yeah, but I didn't know if you had seen that, and I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, Ted Cruz and Susan Collins claim they were heckled by drug cartels at the Mexican border. Both agreed it brought back painful memories of their proms. Why? I don't even know. I don't even know what that means.
That's somebody's joke.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think they would admit that publicly. This one was pretty funny.
Ted Cruz is going to Cancun by any means necessary.
Here's another story I thought was interesting. California
you sent this, and I didn't have time to look at it.
So it's
Is this real? Is that real? Is that just like a real live like troll? That's what it feels like.
I don't know, right? Like it definitely new religion, racism. The former Aztec god of war and sun is expected to be particularly helpful in the new curriculum's mission to right these wrongs. Students are encouraged to treat
What's it called?
Pochi. No, it's not. Is it Hetzalcoatl? It's not Hetzalcoatl. That's spelled differently. Well, anyway, it could be Hetzalcoatl. I don't know. Sure. Sounds good to me.
I thought that was the Aztecian.
Well, there's several.
No, I think actually that might have been the king.
None of them I can pronounce. Tenochtitlan or something like that was one of them, and I don't know. I know all of my Aztec gods from a game called Smite, which pits all the mythological gods against each other in a MOBA style fight. Played that game a lot back in the day.
California Education Department's woke curriculum would tell students to chant to Aztec god of human sacrifice.
To decolonize their country or whatever. Oh, and there's the ad for the HBO Q. Yeah, haven't watched that one yet. Probably won't.
A critic in the Los Angeles Times says a program doesn't target white privilege enough. On the other side, one writer points out the curriculum claims white Christians committed theocide against America's native tribes, killing their gods and replacing them with Christianity. And as a response to this crime, the new woke program recommends students should chant to the Aztec deity of human sacrifice. The Irlachic affirmation.
Oh, there's Quetzalcoatl, Totec, Zipe Totec,
Tezcatlipoca. Tezcatlipoca.
This is the one I'm familiar with.
Huitzilopochtli. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you'll be instructed to seek healing beliefs while attaining revolutionary empowerment. I don't know. I thought this was a real life troll. Like, I think,
yeah.
It's got to be right. Like this. Like, is somebody just like out there going like, you know what we really could do, like, you know, to really push back on that Christian right? Let's bring back the Aztec gods, and then we could start sacrificing them eventually.
That's pretty funny.
I don't know that. I don't think that's the real goal. I'm just joking, but like. He employs, like, here's the similarity right there. As a part of the goal to decolonize America, he employs similar methods to Adolf Hitler's youth program, deploying children for the regeneration of indigenous epistemic and cultural futurity. Futurity.
Yeah, futurity. That's a word.
Futurity.
This is it's a counter genocide against white Christians.
Yeah. Now again, this is Russia time, so they're probably writing this as a way to just make fun of us. Which, honestly, at this point, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I saw as like more the funny side of things this week.
It's pretty funny. I can't lie. Shit's funny.
Like, this youngin, I don't know. I don't know what's happening anymore.
I mean, it'd be fun to learn that chant, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you could dance around and pretend like you're Maori too.
I mean, yeah, the haka, that'd be fun too. And cultural appropriation and whatnot. I still think it'd be fun to learn the haka. I've just never went to a place where they do that.
Would be fun.
We did play Euless Trinity. They do it. Mm-hmm. They do the haka. It's really cool. So I was thinking about something this morning. Change the subject. I have like 3 shirts that aren't school shirts. So for those of you that don't know, coaches get a lot of clothing because they which is really cool. So they want us in our school attire, like they want us wearing things that have the school logo, mascot, something on it, right? Which is awesome because when you're at a bigger school, you know, it has to be name brand, it has to be you know, so forth and so on. Like, so I get I get every, year, I get new name brand, brand new cool shit to wear, like brand new gear to wear. And so my closet is full of, you know, really cool athletic wear. So because of this, I've been doing this for like almost 10 years now. Because of this, I haven't bought clothes for myself in 10 years. So, um, so my repertoire of things to wear for the show is very, very small. Um, I don't know. I was just complaining about it to myself this morning. I was just like, man, I got like
Oh, this
4
shirt
shirts.
2 weeks ago. What is this?
Yeah. So I changed up the hat today. I just like it's weird, right? Like I haven't bought clothes. I mean, I'll buy pants, but I haven't bought clothes for myself in so long. Like the only reason I have this shirt here is because I donated to Bernie. Like that's it. That's all I got.
They just sent it to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Like whatever. Cool. Appreciate you.
The reason I have a Canadian shirt here is because our parents got it for me when they went to Niagara Falls many, many years ago. They were like, here's a Christmas gift. And I was like, cool, a shirt. I like shirts.
I think I have that same shirt.
The wear moose dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my wife appropriated it for her sleepwear, which
Oh,
is what
yeah.
happens to the majority of my shirts. I find them in her drawer. Or she wears them to bed.
You see them and you're like, wait a minute.
That used to be mine.
I have some pajama pants that are in that exact same state. And it's like, oh, you let me borrow this? Borrow. Like, borrow.
Also, for those of you that haven't noticed, new logos and banners. We found some people to help us out. I don't know how to pronounce the names, but yeah, I don't even know how to tell you how to get a hold of them if you like their stuff. So let's just do it like this. If you want to get a hold of them, try to DM us somehow, either on Twitter or Facebook, and then we can pass along the info. But these guys do really, really, really good work. We're very excited to show our new stuff.
Yeah, Mr. Durex Extra Safe he's a great artist.
Did you notice that the banner when we were looking over it, the watermark
Yes,
was
the watermarks was the Durex
was the
condoms.
condom.
I thought that was
that was
hilarious.
funny. I was like, "That's nice job, nice job."
Well done. Yes.
So, yeah. Anyway, really excited about that.
Yeah. So we have there it is. Boom.
Yeah,
There it
that's my wife was really like, why does he look so happy and you look so angry? I was like, you don't see the smartassiness in his face? I was like, that's what he does.
is. What I do.
Smartassy.
Like, you take things seriously.
And then I get fired
talk
up.
with my hands.
Like, and then I get fired up. So,
I said, I've only gotten mad about one thing so far. Legitimately.
no.
That was the Bank of America thing. Like,
That wasn't even what I was talking about. Speaking of, holy shit, speaking of share, did I put this on the weekly news?
probably not. I didn't see anything you added.
Okay. I think I put it on our page. Tweeted it. Um,
Probably put it in your own little thing. Yeah.
Holy mother of pearl. Okay. I didn't tweet it. What is going on? So, okay. It's basically I found out that you were very upset about sharing information and whatnot. Well, the state of Texas has made $450 million selling our information.
Heard about that one.
Um,
They found it on an unsecured server located in Denver or something like that, and yeah, it was just like sitting out there with no password, no nothing. It had been sold through like 2 or 3 different parties at that point.
yeah,
We did talk about that last time, if you recall.
we did.
We did.
No,
We did
I
talk
don't.
about that. Yeah, and basically came to the conclusion of fuck those guys, but also that it was viable. I remember it because you were talking about how like insurance and DMV sales and everything else.
I did talk about that.
Yeah, you did. You're going backwards in time, buddy. We got a lot of stuff to talk to about today, man. I got a ton of stuff here.
I saw that. Okay, you start.
All right. So as we all know, it's been a very bloody week, to say the least.
Okay.
Um, rolling into last weekend, there was the Atlanta shooting, and for anyone who's living under a rock or whatever, this guy, he's a bad guy. Yes, I'm using an ad blocker, CNN. String of 3 deadly shootings in the Atlanta area has alleged motive at the Asian spas. This article is from the 18th, so this was kind of right around when it happened. It was 4 in the first area, several more in the others.
This is the Asian spa.
This is the Asian spa. Yeah.
Oh, this is the one I took issue with you on Twitter.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? I've come to maybe a little bit of a different position than what I took early on. So, because things happen and more information comes out, and then things evolve. So let's take a look at this. So, for anyone who doesn't know the story, this guy went around, shot up a bunch of Asian spas, said he was treating his own sex addiction, and I think it was in this article where he tells the cops, yeah, here it is. Long told police that they were not racially motivated, according to Baker of the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. Baker also referenced Long's sex addiction, saying that Long sees the spas as a temptation he wanted to eliminate. All quotations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this guy's like sick in the head. It's like the like, to me, what this struck me as is like the old "the devil told me to do it" kind of thing. Jesus told me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm removing the temptation from all these other people because it tempted me. So yeah, right.
Here's my thing, and this is the thing that is pissing me off. There is no way, there's no fucking way possible that it's not racially motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Because since in America, since I can't tell you when, but hypersexualization of Asian women has gone on. The China doll, me love you long time, just that. I kind of looked into it when you were kicking back on this, or you're hitting back on this, or pushing back rather. Um, so this lady, she wrote a book about an Asian American girl striving to be a figure skating champion. Um, Regularly called China doll on subways and streets, the sexualized and submissive stereotype of Asian women have affected her everyday life, from being harassed in public to being objectified in dating. Because of the belief that Asian people don't generally rock the boat, coupled with the media that sexualize Asian women for white pleasure, she often projects an image that is meaner than she actually is to protect herself. Um, when someone is expresses romantic interest, she's wary of their intentions. The stereotypes that Asian women are exotic, submissive, hypersexual are long-standing. Um, so the number of attacks that have happened, um, like rose up, 3,800 incidents or something like that. 68% of those are women.
Mm-hmm.
Of those attacks have happened to women.
Just in the last year, or
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying, sexualization and racism are intertwined. Like it's not. Yes. So I'm saying you're like scoffing at the idea that because he is like super like hard on for Asian women, that he would go kill them. Like, yeah, that's exactly it. Because obviously he has an Asian fetish, and then has an addiction to that uh, fetish, I guess. And so he felt like he had to cut it off. But it absolutely had to do with race. He could have gone anywhere.
And like I said, I've kind of changed my position from when we've argued about this in the past. And I can allow that this guy probably did have the the fetish and the things, and then all the things that go along with that, as well as the instability and the mental, dealing with your own problems kind of thing. What I think is most interesting about this whole situation is it has highlighted the very clear and decades long running idea, feeling in the media and in their people's everyday lives that it's like okay to be racist against Asian people. I mean, shit, man, you gotta watch Family Guy, like, back when it was first starting, and it's super racist against Asians. Right?
Yeah.
There's institutional affirmative action is racist against Asians. Asians have to score higher on the SAT, like an Asian woman would have to score higher on an SAT score than a white man to get into the same college. So all of the systems and processes have been set up to like because, as you said, they were just expected to be submissive, put their nose down to the grindstone, work hard, do all these things. And that's just been the perception. And so for the longest time, the left and the Hollywood media has been allowed, and it's been accepted, to be super racist against Asian people. Why? Because they're essentially white people. That's been the mentality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, like there's like a whole like neo-Nazis that take Asian wives, and that's okay, and it has to do with the submissiveness and blah 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 blah. But like, yeah, they'll do mail order brides type shit. Like there's like super racist dudes.
I personally know someone who has a mail order bride.
Oh, really?
Yes. I know him. I've met his wife. She's a very nice lady. She's also about a third of his age.
Yeah, of course.
I know he's got 3 grown kids, two or three grown kids, and I think it was 2 years ago. When was it? No, it was 3 years ago. He started hooking up or mailing this Cambodian lady and like talking online. I won't say it's like a definitive mail order bride, but it looks like it, right? Like I can't, you know, because I'm like, dude, you are like 58, and I think she's like 22, maybe. Um, but he changed his look, started dyeing his hair because he had the silver fox thing going on. She wanted him to look younger, so he would like, dyed his hair, shaved his mustache, um, got the skin treatment, um, and like went to Cambodia to like meet the family, get married, bring her back over here. They have a kid now. Um, I don't know if that's like a hypersexualization or if he was just a lonely old man kind of deal. Like I don't, you know,
Yeah.
they seem happy kind of deal. Like I don't know, I'm not gonna put my foot in it, but like I know somebody who did that. I haven't seen him in years, as you can imagine, but yeah,
It's interesting.
yeah, that was a real thing.
Kind of interesting. Anyway, yeah, they do that.
In any case,
It's racist.
enough of that. So the other thing that you said that got my goat was the 7 shootings in 7 days. Did you have a chance to look at this one?
That made you mad?
That annoyed me.
So there haven't been 7 shootings in 7 days?
No, there have been more, actually. By the FBI definition of 3 people shot, 3 or more people shot in the same instance, right? But I want you to, have you read through these? Have you looked at this at all?
Yeah.
So,
I like that.
here's the Atlanta shooting. And this is the guy that goes in with the gun and kills a bunch of people. Here was a drive-by shooting. Here was a shooting in East Portland. This actually happened at a club, I believe. This one also happened in a club. Actually, take a look at this one. Investigating a shooting at East 300 block. 4 blocks have been taken at the scene. Nobody's not affected at that point. Okay, so that one's just kind of something happened in Portland. 8 people shot by an unknown assailant in Dallas.
I think they found that person.
They did find this guy. I think so. Yeah.
That's they I got like an alert. They they found that guy.
Yeah. Here's a shooting at an illegal party, and then the Boulder, Colorado. So some of these things are not exactly the same. Would you agree?
So sort of. Okay. The one in the club, apparently, I think the one in Dallas, because I looked at this one. Because I was like, oh, there's a shooting in Dallas? I didn't even know about this. And so I got to looking at it, and apparently there was like an argument, like a fight, and dude just started spraying, just firing his weapon, like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think 1 died, 8 people. Yeah, 1 died, 8 people were shot. And so while it's not the exact same, it falls into, to me, lots and lots of people dying because they're just shooting willy-nilly, like into a crowd, hoping to hit some shit. Which is just, I don't know, it seems really fucked up. So while, no, it's not like some disgruntled person walking in somewhere and just shooting because he's upset with his life. It's still the same because it's still lots of people getting shot, lots of people dying. There was one in Indianapolis sometime this winter. where the dude like went into a house and shot up the people in the house.
Mhm.
I don't know what exactly happened there. But that also, I feel like that also counts. While no, it's not the same because it could have been just like, you know, he was mad at the baby mama and went in there and shot up her family.
Mhm.
Um, but it's still like, I don't know, still seems like a mass killing to me. Well, it's not 20 people, it's not 30 people, 100 people, 250 people, still seems
So
like,
does it fit with the idea that it's the problem as white supremacy is causing all these mass shootings? That's the part that I take issue with.
no, that's a gun issue. That's what all of it is boiling down to, is a gun issue.
Mhm.
Um, I do think most terror in the United States does have to do with white supremacy. Most terror attacks, most of them. Look it up. Look up most terror attacks. They come from white men.
I mean,
Well, maybe
so
not white
this
supremacy, but white men.
this seems like a pretty diverse crowd.
But those aren't terror. Just like what you're talking about. They're not the same. Mass shooting into a club is not the same um,
When
as
it's
walking
convenient.
into an Asian spa.
When it's convenient,
It's
it's not the
not.
same. When it's convenient,
What are
it's
you
not the
talking
same.
about? When it's convenient, it's not the same.
This
Like
whole
people get into
article,
arguments
when
all
it's
the time,
convenient,
right?
it's not the same.
People get into arguments, but what I'm saying is, Rob, that there's a difference between having a fight with your child's mother and going in and shooting up her family, and walking into a supermarket and just spraying bullets,
Mhm.
or walking into a church and
I
spraying bullets, or
I
walking into an
understand
Asian
that.
spa and spraying bullets willy nilly. When these other instances have happened, like even on this list, there was an argument in the bar.
Mhm.
The guy got his gun, walked back in, and shot at the dude he was trying at one specific person. Now he hit a bunch of other people, but he went in angry in the moment.
Mhm.
I'm talking about terroristic events.
The thing is, Reese, you're not listening. I agree with you that these are
That ain't,
different.
that ain't what you said.
I am angry that the media says they are the same when it is convenient.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. So they're saying they're all the same because I guess
And
it's I think it's
and
convenient
this
for the gun thing.
yeah, this thing that happened in Boulder, it was convenient to say he was a white guy, not a Syrian refugee.
They did look white. Not gonna lie. If you look at him,
So they ascribed motive before they knew anything. Hey, he looks white. This is white supremacy. Not that he killed 10 white people. And it is a racist attack. Hmm.
so I'm gonna speak to that. One, you do look white. Two, um,
So I
yeah,
mean,
that's all I got. Dude looks white. Before you learn anything, and with the history of what has happened in this country over the past however long, at least 10 years, most of the mass shootings come from who?
black people. Straight up. Detroit, Chicago.
Most
Those are the most of the
most of the mass
FBI
shootings that
FBI
walk
quoted
into a
mass
supermarket,
shootings.
most of the mass shootings where people walk into a supermarket and just start spraying happen from white people. Terroristic events in the United States happen from white people, white men.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see a picture of a dude that looks white. What do you think? A white dude shooting up something else.
So it's
Another white
so
dude
then,
shooting up something. Here we go.
So it's
Like think about
for a white dude shooting up a bunch of
big mass shootings that have happened. The big ones. The ones where it's like just senseless fucking violence. The one in Nevada. Right? Columbine.
which we still don't have
right?
a motive for. That's the craziest thing. That guy's been completely scrubbed from the internet.
Really?
The Nevada shooting. Yeah. There's nothing out there on that one. Columbine. What about the University of Texas?
That was the biggest one. So that was like the most people actually killed.
Yeah. And there's
in
nothing
a shooting event.
And there's nothing in Nevada. There's nothing.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So the guy's dead, and we're done looking.
Wow.
There's nothing on that one. And
I will give you.
The first one was the University of Houston or University of Texas. That was the very first one where the guy brought out the gun and started killing people willy nilly. You had the guy in Virginia Tech.
He was.
Oh, he was Asian. He was an Asian guy in the University of Texas and in Virginia Tech.
No, the guy out of Texas was white. I'm talking about the one in the 70s.
I thought I was too.
No, that dude was white.
Tower shooting.
Yeah.
Charles Whitman. Oh, it was a white dude. I'm thinking of Virginia Tech then.
Virginia Tech is definitely Asian.
But it's like, I don't want any of these things to happen. That's, I guess, I don't know, like. But the automatic ascribing of motive based on like hot takes from people on the internet, I get annoyed.
Well, I still firmly believe that the guy that shot at the Asian spa was racially motivated. Like you can't convince me otherwise.
He might have been.
Like I'm just saying you don't walk into an Asian spa. It's an Asian spa. Like you can't mistake them.
Yeah. Did you see the thing with the cop out of that story where they quoted the cop as saying like he just had a bad day.
Yeah.
Like
that's pretty bad.
That didn't actually happen though. Like the cop was quoting. Well, what happened was the cop was quoting the guy saying the perpetrator told us he'd just been having a bad day, and they clipped it.
Oh.
Then he got fired for it because of the reporting that was done on that. Sir, do you know why this happened? Well, he told us he just had a bad day. Oh, the cop said he had a bad day.
I think it was the manner of how he said it. Like, honestly. Like,
I don't think
because he was like, well, the guy said he had a bad day. He just had a bad day.
I mean,
like, it was like very...
He's a cop in Georgia. How do you think he talks?
Very, very jaunty and... just a jaunty southern cop.
Right, like... Alright, so I lost power there for a second, so there's a huge break in time. We're back. We're going to finish this up.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back. What were we talking about? Let's see here. We had the Colorado thing, the Boulder thing, the everything in between. We had agreed on these things are different, yet the media finds it convenient to conflate the two.
I think they do that just so they can talk about guns.
Yeah.
They want to talk about gun violence and gun and this, and so I think that's what that is.
Well, yeah. I mean, the coronavirus isn't selling clicks anymore, right?
Do you want to talk about, since I guess we got cut off, the Georgia voting law stuff that they just signed into?
Sure. I didn't really have anything ready on that. What is the law?
Did you see it though?
Have you been looking into it?
So I looked into it, and it, the only thing that was like really disconcerting was you can't give people food and water that have to wait in line. Uh, and so, and I guess so. They're like, if you give people water, then tell them to vote for somebody. Um, you're it's voter fraud. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Well, it's like it gets into like I guess the gifts maybe. Is that the idea? Like you can't take or receive a gift for your vote. Is that water a gift if you don't have to pay for it?
Yeah, yeah. So it bans mobile voting. It bans giving water to voters in line. Implements a near ban on out of precinct voting. Shortens VBM return period. I don't know what VBM is. Voter ballot mail in. I don't know. Limits drop boxes, limits polling place hours, and adds ID rules to VBM ballots. Vote by mail. That's what that is.
Vote by mail. Good. Yep. I don't have a problem if you do
So
that.
of course you don't. It says there's a clip from Brian Kemp. So it says it's obvious that neither President Biden nor his handlers have actually read SB 202, which I signed into law yesterday. This bill expands voting access, streamlines vote counting procedures, and ensures election integrity. There's nothing Jim Crow about requiring a photo or state issued ID to vote by absentee ballot. Every Georgia voter must already do so when voting in person. President Biden, the left, and the national media are so determined to destroy the sanctity and security of the ballot box. As Secretary of State, I consistently led the fight to protect Georgia elections against power hungry partisan activists. As governor, I won't back down from keeping Georgia elections secure, accessible, and fair. Um, I think he was a huge voter purger, too,
Is
when he was
North Dakota?
Secretary of State. Brian Kemp.
Oh.
Because, I told you I got purged,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't even know why. But when I went to go vote in 2014,
Had you been dormant for a while, or
I don't remember.
in 2014 that was your time of like political inactivity? So
Not really. I mean, I was still voting ish. But like, no, because the last time I voted before that was like 2008. No,
mm-hmm.
2012. So I voted in 2012 for Obama. I should have been, I shouldn't have been inactive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like, I could only cast a provisional ballot. Um, and, dude, this is the other thing that really pissed me off. Like, because you have to vote in your precinct in Texas as well. Like, you can't vote out of precinct. Or at least you couldn't. I don't know if you can now. But I had to go because I hadn't switched my stuff over. And so my voting registration was like, I don't know, a couple years old. And so I couldn't vote where I lived. And so I had to go to like an hour away to vote where I used to live. Um, and then I had been purged from the polls. So I was really upset all the way around that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to vote provisionally, and then I got a letter, excuse me, got a letter that said, your vote didn't count.
You were
So,
just thrilled about that, I'm sure.
yeah. So, but, the lady that was there was actually really helpful. She ended up they were able to register me on the spot for the next election. So it wasn't very difficult. And then when I went to go get, when I moved into this house, went to go get my driver's license updated. Actually, I did that online now that I think
Mm-hmm.
about it. So when I did it online through the DPS website, they switched over my voting registration online.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't bad. but I guess it was because it was through the DPS. I don't know. It was pretty easy though. I
Yeah.
remember that. I don't understand the not being able to give people water though. Like you can say what you want, but that's ridiculous.
It is, and I think they could do it if it was like from the precinct or the district, like the election board or whatever. Like, if that was really a big deal, then they could make accommodations where, like, you could take the water from the people running the election or something like that, right?
That would make sense.
And you wouldn't necessarily have to
So
get it
so what
from.
you're saying is then they should provide it. But if you're standing in line for 8 hours and you can't get anything to fucking drink, that's goddamn ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I mean, the idea that you would have to wait for more than an hour is kind of ridiculous to me. But then again, I live in small towns, so if I show up early to vote, we walk in and vote. Like there's no waiting.
Yeah, I've voted early every time too. And when I got to vote in the primary, my school was a polling place. So I couldn't, because I don't live in my district, I couldn't vote in the presidential election. But for the primary, I could just go like down the hall and vote. That was really convenient.
Like some of the ideas that like are in here as far as like the election integrity stuff, like I really don't have a problem with. But if we wanted to do like if anyone was really serious about like opening up voting for everyone, you'd make it a national holiday. And it'd be like a 2-day holiday. You'd have, the Constitution allows for basically one election day. And so if they wanted to open things up, then you'd have it the day before and then the day of the count, which is the election day. That's when all the votes are supposed to be counted across the country. They could do something like that,
I think that's part of HB1.
But it also expands a lot of other things, right? So, like, while some things in HB1, like, I don't have a problem with, other things I do take issue with, right? We talked about that already. But as far as this, like, Georgia voting bill, like, I don't really have a problem with that.
I guess I have a problem with nobody's been able to prove fraud. Like, and then when they have been able to prove fraud, it's been Republicans that have fucking committed the fraud.
I don't think that matters at all, because the perception is, for however many million people, is that it existed, right? And so it doesn't matter whether or not to them that it was proved in court or not, right? So the power in this country is gained through confidence in the vote, confidence that your vote matters, the perception that, hey, this was held honestly and openly and fairly, and these things happen, right? There's not a lot of that confidence. Now, whether it came from Georgia or Michigan or Pennsylvania or anywhere else, that confidence level is low. And it doesn't matter whether or not the confidence level is low
because of the propaganda from fucking the GOP. That's why the confidence level is low, because they just fucking
the video of the
shit.
people counting the votes after they told them it was closed. The confidence level is
a
low
lie.
Because they
that was a lie, and that's
viewers,
not actually what happened.
And they put up poster boards over the windows where they were counting the votes to keep out the
apparently
observers.
That was a lie,
that
and
happened
that's
in
not
Michigan.
what happened.
There's photographic evidence of it, and that's what people see. And it doesn't matter what you say to those people,
because the propaganda from the GOP.
Okay, but that doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter to them. So anything that they can do to build confidence in their voter base, because Georgia is still, like, that house is still red, and they want that voter bloc to have confidence in their vote. And that's what's important to them. So anything you say about this propaganda, they don't care. It doesn't matter. It's not important to them. Because the perception is that it needs to be stiffened up. That security needs to be maintained and improved. That's the perception. And that's all they care about. And so it doesn't matter what propaganda your side's putting out about the rest of it. They already believe something happened. And there's no changing their minds.
Except for there's no evidence.
It doesn't matter. They've seen what evidence they believe.
Yeah.
So the idea that you can say no evidence, it means nothing to them. It means nothing. It means less than nothing.
I understand. So you just make shit up to go do. Because the reality is that the GOP wants less people to vote.
Are voter ID laws?
The GOP wants less people to vote. They don't want to open up voting. They want the opposite to happen. They want less people voting. They want less young people voting. They want less poor people voting. They want less people to vote.
So the law also expanded weekend voting and early voting times. It restricted absentee ballots. So I think there's a balance there.
Okay. I think the biggest issue with absentee balloting this year had to do with the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess your side didn't want to wear masks or don't care about the coronavirus or any of that stuff.
That was the weirdest thing. I'm still puzzled about that.
The mask thing?
Yeah, because early on, early on, Fauci's out there saying don't wear a mask, and the Republican conservative types were buying up masks. And then when he started saying, "Hey, wear a mask," they were all like, "Screw you, dude! We're not doing it. You can't tell me what to do." And it was the whole dichotomy flipped. I'm still puzzled about that. I think that was a weird observation. There's no real point to that, but it was pretty funny.
So I'll say this: I went to let me talk about masks for a second. So it's springtime in in my household, and that means we are planting and building things outside. So we got our stimmy check, which means that we're investing in the house, right? So I went to Home Depot because I had to get things to build a shed because that's my new project. The next project is an arbor, and I have to get it done before it gets 1,000 degrees outside, right? So I'm like, seriously, so as soon as we get done with this, I've got to go start on the shed. Anyway, I went to the Home Depot, which is over in the country town over, real country. Bro, I'd say honestly 95% of people were still wearing masks. And the funny fucking thing about that is this. When the pandemic was at its height last year around this time, because I also did a lot of Home Depot trips last year around this time, more people were wearing masks yesterday than they were a year ago in that little bitty town. That was before the mask mandates and all that stuff. Or, I'm sorry, that was when big Dallas had a mask mandate, but the little towns did not. Before the statewide mandate. Does that make sense? When it was still run by the cities or whatever. So even in the town where I live, they didn't have a mask mandate, but Dallas County did. And so 9 miles away, you go to the store and everybody is masked up. It is very serious. 9 miles over, no one's wearing them. And I'm like, what is going on? So, but yeah, my point is that more people, even though the mandate has been lifted, more people were wearing masks yesterday than were a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm immunized, so I don't really care. But whatever. I have been wanting to like find an opportunity to be like an asshole about it, but not like, hey, put on your mask. Be like, oh, I'm like scared because somebody's not wearing a mask. Because I think it'd be funny. But I haven't had one yet. I haven't had an opportunity yet. Dang it.
You're gonna make me sick. Star. Where does that go?
So, yeah, anyway. Sorry, back on topic.
That's all right.
Voting. Voting.
I don't know.
I just like seriously, like it bothers me that the mission seems for less people to vote for the Republican Party. Like, sure, if you want to have whatever you want to do, I guess is for security reasons, sure, but I still think the mission should be for everyone to vote.
I
think there's something wrong with it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I said this on the Twitter that I think those two laws should be inextricably linked. And
I actually like that.
Because whatever laws that the Republicans want to institute to say weaken background checks or whatever, so now if you want to vote, now you have to have a background check. Now you have to have an ID. You got to be over 21. You got to be you got to have all these things in place. We'll just say it as a long rifle, so 18. So you got to be 18, right? Instead of a handgun, you got to be 21 to buy a handgun and 18 to buy a long rifle. And you link the voting rights and the voting registration laws with the gun purchase laws.
So if you're eligible to buy a gun,
if you're eligible to buy a gun, then you're eligible to vote. And you know what? You can go buy a gun and get registered to vote. You can go vote and buy a gun. They'll send you one. It'll be great. It'll be great for this country.
I actually don't hate that idea.
Anytime somebody wants to do something on one side of the political spectrum or the other, it directly links to the one that they're opposed to.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. It'll never happen.
No,
but it's a fun idea to think about.
It is kind of fun though. Like I get it. Like it makes sense to me. If you link those laws, yeah, I'm with it.
I mean, and the thing about that the Republicans would complain about is like it would get rid of the private sale rules, right? And the thing that that was what we were talking about last week whenever it was like the new HB 8 or 5 or whichever one deals with guns seeks to eliminate private sales. And the thing about private sales is like if I was to give or sell you a weapon or something else, like I have to know that you're legally allowed to own it. Because if you're not, then I become a felon anyway. That's the loophole that everyone always talks about, right? And so it's more like personal recognizance. Hey, we remand you to your personal recognizance that the person that you're loaning or giving this private sale to is legally allowed to own it. If not, you have violated all these laws over here for illegal weapon sales. That's always been the loophole that people talk about, and I think even in Texas you can have private sales, but it's still better to go through like an FFL, Federal Firearms License person, just to get the weapon transferred on the FBI database for all that stuff anyway. So it's always a good idea to go through an FFL to do those sales, because God forbid the person go out and shoot a bunch of people, your name's still not attached to that serial number, right? So
right.
On the other hand, voting laws. Well, now you have to have an ID. Now you have to have a background check. Now you have to have, whatever else. And so, where's the compromise going to be between these two things so that everybody can get what they want? I forget. I
Yeah,
don't, I don't
no,
remember.
I kind of like it because I think it would stave off a lot of the bullshit that the Republicans do, and at the same time the Democrats as well with the gun stuff. Like it would it would halt all of the bullshit.
All of it. All of the BS would stop. If only we could tie those things together at a constitutional level. These are your
Yeah,
rights. Here's how they're guaranteed. This is it. And then there's no more discussion.
yeah, that's the end of it. It's interesting. It's an interesting proposition, I think.
And so, like, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my thought. We'll see if we can petition our people to just, hey, put this on the books. Hey, try
I'm telling
to
you, I
set
don't hate
this
it.
up.
I don't hate it.
You should message your senator, your representative, and see if we can get some traction on this.
Yeah, well, it's like you said, it's never going to happen. Have you seen the pee pee and poo poo bottles from Amazon stuff going on? Sorry. So this
No.
this Amazon account is like saying, you know, no, nobody's peeing in bottles. Well, apparently their drivers are peeing and pooping in bottles. Man, and
Okay,
so
hold on. Here it is. Amazon.
man, it is.
Good stuff. If employees actually had to pee in bottles, nobody would work for us. That's a lie.
That survey says that's a lie.
And messed up your camera. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So,
Pee pee poo poo.
pee poo poo bottles.
So the letter was like, somebody this is for the third time you've defecated in a bag, because apparently they have like these Amazon bags or something like that, and you have to return them at the end of your shift or whatever. And somebody left like a poop bag in the truck for the next driver. And so there was like this company wide email that was like, listen, don't leave your poop. Like, get that. Because Amazon's on this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like they are like it's so fast. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, the thing is about Amazon, and it's, I had a friend who used to work there in one of the warehouses, and like the fulfillment centers, it was called, and like, man, they do the morning stretches, and they do the things, and um, the scheduled bathroom breaks. But then if you try to take your bathroom break, you're gonna miss your quota because you got to have so many items like processed and so much time, and then it's like there's a computer screen right there that like keeps live time track of like how you're doing and you're processing your items, and it's pretty intense from what I was told, like working in that warehouse.
I almost took a part-time job at Amazon. I'm pretty glad that I didn't.
Yeah, I think you should be
Because
glad that you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, what is this? Hold on, I found this document here. List of violations: gross negligence, misuse, dumping or abandoning customer's package. Like, all of this seems okay. Like, don't drive on somebody's lawn, kind of deal. Like, yeah, okay. Why is this at the top?
What is it? I can't see it.
It says public urination, public defecation, or public indecency. Do you not give the guys the time to find the bathroom? Is that an email also
no,
provided?
apparently they're not giving people time to go to the bathroom.
So, an email provided, employee also provided an email sent by the Amazon Logistics area manager last May that chastised employees for defecating into bags. This evening, an associate discovered human feces in an Amazon bag that was returned to the station by a driver. This is the third occasion in the last 2 months when a bag, when the bag has been returned to the station with poop inside. We understand that driver's associates may have emergencies while en road. DAs have struggled to find bathrooms.
We've noticed an uptick recently in all kinds of unsanitary garbage being left inside bags. Bottles of urine, gloves, masks. We can easily identify the DA who was in possession of the bag last. Tier 1 infractions going forward.
Oh my gosh. You cannot poop in the bag. I know it may seem obvious, like there's something you shouldn't need to coach. Man, coaching. That's another thing. So, the corporate action, you know, the corporate lingo, it talks about like mentoring and coaching and like what's the difference between the two. And I remember I was at a training that they were giving to young engineers. And I had been on the job for like maybe a year or two, like doing kind of what I'm doing now. And I remember the person who's given this talk is some corporate speech, you know, motivational guy, and he was talking about how great it is to get coaching and mentoring and how you can like help people improve their stuff. And he asked the question, like, what's the difference between coaching and mentoring? And in a room of like 75, 80 people, he points to me. As he's like walking down off the thing and like walking through the crowd, and I'm sitting at the table, and he points to me and he says, you know, what's your name? It's like, well, I'm Rob, you know, I'm da-da-da-da. This is where I work and things I do and how long I've been here. He's like, great. What's the difference between coaching and mentoring? And I was like, well, you know, a mentor, at least, you know, this is my experience here in the company, and mentor is, you know, someone who kind of helps you out and leads you in the right directions that you can look up to, and you can ask them about, you know, what to do in various situations with various problems that you have, either interpersonal or, you know, technical. And he's like, yeah, okay. And I was like, and coaching is when I made a mistake and I got to go into the boss's office and get some coaching. And of course, everyone starts laughing. And he's like, no, that's not what this is. And I'm like, no, that's exactly what this is. Like, this is the disciplinary action. Like, it's just the nice way that we say it around here. So, it's like we can't say like pros and cons. They have to say plus delta, right?
Yeah. So I just say, what's the difference between teaching and coaching? Reps. Reps. You gotta get reps.
Gotta get reps, man. It's not enough to know, you must do.
Yeah, you gotta get reps.
An email, hold on, we're still on this pee bottles. An email that Brown received from the manager this past August has a section titled urine bottles and states, in the morning you must check your van thoroughly for garbage and urine bottles. If you find the urine bottle, please report to your leads, supporting staff, or me. Vans will be inspected by Amazon during debrief. If urine bottles are found, you will be issued an infraction, Tier 1, for immediate offboarding. They will fire you. I guess that's the Tier 1 infraction.
Basically, if you leave your pee-pee bottle.
Leave your pee-pee bottle.
It's okay to pee. It's okay to pee-pee in a pee-pee bottle.
But don't leave it.
But if you make somebody else clean that shit up.
If we find it.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty crazy. The like
Oh
it's
gosh.
going on, it's a problem, and you're doing nothing
Dude,
aside
you want to
from
know
threatening to be fired.
the most messed up thing I read was it was about the contractors that work for Facebook.
What's that?
It was hold on a second. Facebook. Um, I gotta figure out how to search for it. Is it this one? Urge? Yeah. So this is the article: "The Trauma Floor: The Secret Lives of Facebook Moderators in America." Yeah, this article was from 2 years ago. That's how it starts, and it basically goes through about this contractor working in a office building, if you can call it that, and it's got kind of the same things that we're talking about with Amazon, about how like they can't go use the restroom, like they have to do so many videos a minute, so many an hour, sign this NDA, can't talk about it. Um,
Wow.
Secrecy also insulates Cognizant, which is the contracting company from Facebook, from criticism about their work conditions, moderators told me. Pressure not to discuss the emotional toll that their job takes on them, even with loved ones. So, like the thing that struck me with this one is just like these folks have to see, like, so we talk about how we have talked about how like cops routinely have to deal with like the worst society has to offer, and it kind of inures them to a lot of suffering that people have.
Hmm.
uh it's happening to these people too, and they're having to watch like animal cruelty videos, and they have to watch like at least 15 seconds of the video before they can turn it off, and like then they have to like notate what exactly happened and why it's bad and how it violates the rules, and it's just a bad situation. I recommend reading through this. It's a pretty long article. um, Security personnel keep watch over the interests, on the lookout for disgruntled employees who might confront moderators over a removed post. So, like, they're expecting one of them to break down and come shoot the office up. Like, it's kind of how
Wow.
this leads you to believe it. Like, that's how bad the situation is here.
So they're employed by a company that or that Facebook employs. Is that the
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm
So they
seeing?
don't they don't work for Facebook. They work for this other company, and Cognizant, I think, is this one where this particular lady works. Um, and it talks about offensive posts and like things that they have to deal with. Um, but yeah, no. So it's a contracted company. The Facebook pays this company to hire people and perform moderation tasks for flagged content or automatically flagged content. From 1,500 so weekly discussion, Facebook selects 50 or 60 to audit. These posts are reviewed by a second employee, a quality assurance worker known internally as QA, who makes $1 an hour more than Miguel. Full-time Facebook employees then audit a subset of the QA decisions, and from these, an accuracy score is generated. Miguel takes a dim view of the accuracy score. Accuracy is only judged by agreement. The auditor agrees, then we were correct. And this number doesn't matter. That number is what they care about. So it's kind of like Amazon with their productivity numbers. How these metrics are the only thing that matter. And I don't know what kind of metrics or key performance indicators like you as a coach would have, but like this is corporate mumbo jumbo. Honestly, it's the same kind of driving factor that like makes fourth quarter's earnings important.
My metrics are way different. One, because like my teaching field is not core, so it's not a tested subject. I'm gonna tell you right now, I will never teach a tested subject ever. That ish is literally the worst. It like those teachers that get tested, they have I don't know. Um, so I don't have to deal with a lot of the same things that those guys do. I have TEKS that I have to teach. That's the Texas Education Knowledge and Skills, blah 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 blah, or essential knowledge and skills that I have to teach, and I have to go through. And I get people coming through my class. As a matter of fact, I've got an observation coming up next week where the person is going to come watch me teach. Should be a good time. I'm going to talk about healthcare. I have to go over. I just have to I have to teach about health insurance. The section that we're on right now is.
Try not to yell at your students.
No.
It's not their fault.
I will be. It's an information thing, and so mostly talking about PPOs, HMOs, so forth and so on, so that they have at least a base in the verbiage of how to navigate through that stuff. Because when you get out and you get a job and you've got to decide what health insurance plan to go with, it's really, really confusing. And your HR person typically just wants to get through with it, and they don't, they're not there to try and explain it to you. So you have to read up on stuff, or you have to make a decision in the moment, and you really don't know what the hell you're talking about or what you're doing. I did that this year. I made the mistake of going with an HMO over the PPO, and I'm pissed off at myself for doing it. So I've got to wait until fucking next year to switch back over. And I'm just annoyed with the referral program that you have to go through every time for anything. Anyway,
what referral program are you talking about?
If you have an HMO, you have to have a referral to go see a specialist, no matter what. So when we went through for the teenagers' knee surgery, I've had to have 4 referrals, and so I'm sure that annoys my primary care physician, who has to write those up every time, and they have to go through that stuff. But anyway,
you haven't got to the point where you can just call them up and say hey,
yeah,
go through the paperwork and give me a referral to this guy. I don't want to come see you again.
Yeah. Right, because that costs money. Speaking of money, I had to go to an ENT. Remember my earache a while back? So I had to go to the ENT. I had an abscess in my ear. And I've never been to an ENT, ear, nose, throat doctor before. ENT, ear, nose, throat. I've never been. I'm 40 years old. I've never been to an ENT before. And so I have super, super tiny ear canals. They're very tiny and they're very deep. So I can't use a Q-tip because all it does is it pushes earwax down deeper. So I clean my ears out with a bobby pin, like like a little metal bobby pin,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I have to clean my ears because it's tiny. Anyway, so I'm telling the doctor all this stuff, and he's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "You've never been to an ENT before?" I was like, "No." I was like, he was like, "But how do?" He was like, how do you know to use the thing? What? Like, what's going on? How do you
How do
know
you
your
know
ear
to
canals
not
are?
use a Q-tip?
He's like, how do you know your ear canals are so small? And I was like, bro, first off, here's why I've never been. I was like, this visit today is a $275 visit. Now, if I hadn't already charged up my entire deductible through the surgery, I would be paying that out of pocket. That's number one. So today my visit is $70, and I have to come back for a return visit. So that's another $70. That's $140. 135, 140, $140. You know what I can do with $140? Like, I was like, that's 20 trips to McDonald's. Like, I $5 a piece. Is that right?
I'm
Am I
just
doing that math
grossed
right?
out by going to McDonald's.
I don't eat at McDonald's. I'm just saying. I was using it for an example.
Oh, okay. Because I don't think it was your wife that made you fat. It was the McDonald's.
No, I don't eat McDonald's. I don't, dude. Honestly, like when I do, actually, I'm feeling like an egg McMuffin. Like I can't even like the one close to me is always so busy that I don't go. Like I don't. I'm just like nah. I'm not going there.
Anyway,
Sometimes I
so you
would
went to
like.
the doctor.
So anyway,
Sorry.
um, my point is that he was baffled that I have never been to an ENT before. But my biggest issue is for what one. I mean, I'm 40 years old. I've made it this far without going to an ENT. Like, and the only reason I went is because my doctor said he couldn't drain the abscess that I had in my ear
Mm-hmm.
canal, and so I had to go to the specialist to get it done. That's the only reason I went. Um, but I, the reason I've never been is because of cost. Like I could probably do well. They also have like an allergist there. I probably do well going to see an allergist. Probably do well to see it. I've got a lot of problems with my ears, and I probably helped me out a lot with having an ENT. But that costs a lot of money, so I don't go.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess that's my point. Is like the reason I've never been, and the reason I'm 40 years old and I've never been to one, even though with all the problems that I have with my ears, I don't go because that's a cost that I can get by. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be okay. I don't need to have that cost added to my bills. And I think a lot of people do that because of our healthcare system.
Mm-hmm.
I got off on this tangent because I was talking about healthcare. Anyway, back to what I was metrics for being a coach. As a sub varsity coach, um, my my job is to make sure no kids quit, win games, make sure that the kids like me. That's it.
What you got to do?
I mean, I got to win games. So, but I'm as a sub varsity head coach, I'm 26-5 overall in 4 years. Get you some.
Nice.
I got 2 championships. So, you know,
Well,
whatever. I don't suck.
I had to get a crown done, get a crown prep going on over here. Because the filling the guy put in had like dislodged. So then like cavity formed underneath the filling. You had to grind it all the way down, almost to the root, and then do the thing. So I've been dealing with that for the last 2 days, I guess. I had that done Friday. So that's been fun. Did you see this right here.
Yeah.
So I added
What
that.
I don't understand what Biden had to do with any of that shit.
It's basically just drawing the link between the union endorsement and application. Correlation is not causation, but that's what this is.
Like
I don't know.
like they don't they don't close mills because of who's president. They close mills because it's either not profitable or it's paper is going out the door anyway. Most people are going digital, so of course mill production is down. Has fuck all to do with who's the president. That's why I was like, what does Biden have to do with any of this? It's fucking, you're an expense. Sorry. That's how the market works. Capitalism, baby.
Locals speculate. Here, I'll show you this quote here. Writes the New York Post, says locals speculate that inevitable climate change demands from the Biden administration would have forced Apvion to make costly upgrades, like when the plant underwent an expensive retrofit so it could meet new emission standards set by the Obama administration. Maybe.
Sounds like bullshit to me.
It's not bullshit that the regulations have changed in industry. That's not. It's also not bullshit that those changes can be very, very expensive. Is it bullshit in this instance? Maybe. I don't know. I only found the one story on it. Potentially.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't I don't know how it has anything to do with Joe Biden. I guess if you have to do retrofits, costly upgrades, 155-year run, first opened in 1866. I think it has to do with paper being used less.
Yeah.
We just thought we'd be sold. Yeah, dude, this is just business. Like I don't. I mean, regardless of who the union, endorsed. I mean, yeah, this is it's just like, yes, the more and more factories are going to shut down. More and more, as long as it's cheaper to outsource. Factories are going to close down in our country. That's the way it is.
Right, that's why the one silver lining I saw with the Biden administration was that they were maintaining a lot of the protective tariffs and keeping a lot of that steel out. I don't know if you remember when I talked about that.
Yeah,
that was important to me. Like that's a good thing because again, I work in a very dangerous industry, and if the steel is bad, then people can get exploded. So that's bad, right? Turn your attention to something else as we wrap this, going into the final stretch here. Going back to kind of what we started on with the anti-Asian stuff. I know that was what we had talked about. But I didn't know if you'd had a chance to click through a lot of these other things that I put up here.
I clicked through some of them, yeah.
This one was a 10-year tweet, I think, from this lady.
Where are you at? Which one?
This is the Alexi McCammon with Teen Vogue.
Oh, okay. So I have been wondering what happened with Teen Vogue. Like I never, like there was some big hoopla.
Yeah, so she was an editor. She was one of their main editors. And they found this something in a post here. Now Googling how to not wake up with swollen Asian eyes.
Oh yeah, and it was like from 10 years ago. And they fired her.
Yeah. We agreed it's best to part ways so as not to overshadow the important work happening at Teen Vogue. Seems a little pretentious.
It just seems a little overzealous. So that's, man, I'm telling you right now.
Like I said, going through all these stories, I have
Right.
definitely changed my tune on the whole Atlanta thing. So it's one of those things where like you see it and you're like, oh, this is the outcome of people finally paying attention to this community.
Yeah,
This is the outcome.
yeah. Um, man, I'm again, I'm 40. I am so lucky that I didn't have fucking social media when I was a kid. So that no one can go back and see the stupid things that I either thought or that I did. Like, bro, if I had social media when I was a kid, well, one, I'd probably be in jail. Like, like from just some of the, because man, I'm telling you, like sometimes, I talk to these kids and they tell me what happened and they get in trouble because of the shit they post on their social media. And I'm like, y'all are the generation of
Thank you so
evidence.
much for having
Like,
me, Margaret.
we didn't, I mean, if we brought cameras to parties, it was like a month later when we got the film developed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and then most of the time we didn't bring cameras and there was no live recording of our
No
party.
streaming and the crazy, ridiculous things we did. And
I'm just like, y'all are ridiculous. There was nobody recorded the fights. Like, we just had fights and then everybody went home and that was it.
that was it. Nobody needed to know about it, right? You didn't put it up on the YouTube or World Star.
Worlds, I'm telling you, like, bro, if I believe firmly, like, if we'd had social media when I was a kid, I'd either be in jail or I'd be fired. Like, I just, I was a bit of a wild child. I will admit that I did some crazy shit, and so man, I think honestly, a lot of people don't want to, but one of the things that I talk to my athletes about is maintaining a social media account and having a brand and knowing what you're putting up there and being responsible with it. Because there have been kids that have lost scholarships because of what they post on social media. We talked about that girl that lost her scholarship or her admittance to the college because of what somebody posted about her.
Mm-hmm.
Did we talk about that? Or did you really see that? Like it was like it was like it was like 4 years ago. Here's what happened. 4 years ago, she said the N-word in a song or something like that and posted it when she was like a freshman. And then like somebody held on to it and like held on to the video. She posted it or whatever. Somebody like screen recorded it, held on to it, and then when she got accepted into like Harvard or Yale or somewhere, Columbia, somewhere like really, really prestigious. She was really excited about it. And then this dude was like, "Ha, gotcha," and then like posted, sent it out to everyone. And so, like, this is another reason. Like, there are people with really shitty takes, and so like when you're posting, you have to think about what you're posting. Don't post you smoking weed. Don't post pictures of naked ladies. Like, be smart about building your brand because when you're trying to get a scholarship, there are people on college campuses, like little scrub GAs, where their job is to scroll through all of their recruits' social media, find it, find their social media, go through it, and make sure they're not doing anything problematic for the program. That's their job. Like,
Whole job.
there's somebody that gets paid to do that. And so if you are trying to get recruited, like, you have to have a clean, and we start that conversation in middle school, because kids are already on social media. They're already posting stupid shit. Like, we have to start that conversation early so
You know,
that
the
we
best
can.
way to not have that problem is to not have a social media. It's really
It's
the best way.
2021. It's 2021. You're like, there's no getting away from it. Like, there's too much information going on, and that's part of the public forum conversation with Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and things of that nature, and the regulation uh, that I think there should be. I think it's problematic to be kicking people off. Yeah, you don't want a bunch of vile shit on your platforms, but at the same time, it is the public forum. I do agree with that. Like, I like, I think free speech is really important, because when you become authoritarian, it inevitably always affects the left more. Like, because typically conservatives happen to be more authoritarian than left-leaning people. That's traditionally, conservatives side more with the police, they side more with the authority, and that's kind of how that goes. And so when you are a dissenter, and you have all these rules and regulations as far as what can be posted and what can't, it's really easy to attack the left as well. Like, you think you're winning as a leftist person, you think you're winning getting, Trump off of Twitter. I'm telling you, it's going to come back and hit the left harder. It always happens. Always happens. And so I think the freedom of speech regulation should hit Twitter, Facebook, social media, period. I think it's really important. And I whether you make it a public utility, what have you, I think you have to start making laws to regulate that stuff. That's my opinion on that. I think freedom of speech is very, very important. I mean, even if I disagree wholeheartedly, you have a right to say it.
I agree with all of that, except the reasons why it is that way. I would say that on the whole, and it just goes back to what the beginning, and it's not really an important distinction in the grand scheme of things, but it's that conservatives historically have also respected authority more, or recognized it, maybe?
Because they've been on the side of it.
Sure. I mean, for whatever reason, right?
If the authority is there to conserve, right? So if you're a conservative, you want to conserve something about the way things are, right? And so the authority is there to be a class traitor. Yeah, I said it. And to basically keep things the way they are. And so that's their job, essentially. And so, of course, conservatives are going to be on the side of the authority, because they keep things the way they are. Mm-hmm. Fucking bootlickers. But no, I'm convinced. Policemen are class traitors. I'll say it.
Real quick, rapid fire. This is what I'm glad that the media is covering nowadays. So, attack in Houston. Somebody was fired over anti-Asian comments. This lady attacked on the street, or in the subway, I guess.
Why are you glad they're covering it?
No, because they weren't before.
They just weren't covering it.
I never saw it. So when I searched, now granted, I only searched it this week, right? So when I was looking up like anti-Asian violence and trying to corroborate the stories and Georgia thing, it was just a litany, one right after the other, boom, 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 and you just didn't see these stories as much. I don't know if it's just like the visibility wasn't as high or what was going on, but it's one of those things that I was like, yeah, okay, you can see this now kind of deal. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it it hasn't really, like you were talking about earlier. It hasn't really been part of the conversation at all.
Mm.
Um,
Well, and I think it kind of turns the conversation on its head because if you've noticed, of these, this guy was white who hit him with his car. All the rest of these are not. And so to me, it's like putting the lie to a lot of what has been historically, oh, only the white people are racist.
mm,
You know, it's only racist if you're white. But it turns out that's not true. It never has been, it never was, and it never will be. And you know, as a I don't know if I can say this on YouTube or whatever, but I'm gonna put it out there. Like, on the whole, and in the grand scheme of the world, from what I've noticed and what I've witnessed and seen with my own eyes and heard with my own ears, that like Chinese people don't like black people. Straight up. That's cultural from the people from China. You know that Chinese girl I dated? Yeah, she didn't have nice things to say about black people.
really,
Yeah,
I don't know anything
and
about it. If I'm being 100% honest,
I didn't hear you.
I said I don't know anything about it. Like, honestly, like
Like
I'm pretty ignorant about that.
for her culture and the way that she and others like her that I've interacted with have perceived him, it's all the negative stereotypes. Any of the negative stereotypes you can think of, that's what they think. Again, it's not all, but culturally, as a group, on the whole, this is the case. Right? And so to see other things happen, like and some of the fallout from this attack, this horrendous attack in Atlanta, is very very interesting to me. And maybe I'm stretching it here, but like there was a march that was like, you know, pro Asian march that came in with like a pro Uyghur march, and
A
you
pro what?
the Uyghur Muslims, the Chinese government's like
Oh,
genociding.
that's how you say that. That's how you say that word.
That's how
Uyghur.
I've heard it said. All right, I don't know.
Okay.
Um, so there was like this pro Asian march and pro Chinese march or pro Uyghur march, and they came in direct contact with each other. And the Uyghur march was saying, you know, down with the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. And the other group was calling them racist, like anti-Asian racist. And I find it very interesting that these things and the conflation of Asian people with the Chinese government very different, right? But they lump them in together. At least they did in this instance, right? So it's,
Yeah.
hey, now with the Chinese government, they're doing bad things. They're killing these people. They've got their concentration camps. They're doing, forced mass sterilization on this entire group of people. How dare you say bad things about China? Like, it was just very interesting, and I'm curious to see where it goes from here.
Yeah. It will be quite interesting.
You have anything to wrap us up with?
Have you seen the new Little Nas video?
No.
Apparently.
New Little Nas video. Fans divided as Little Nas gives Satan a lap dance in new video.
Yeah.
The one?
Yeah. This dude said, Lil Nas told Christians, y'all love telling LGBTQ people we're going to hell, then get mad when I decided to go.
Oh, that's too good a picture. I gotta show you this guy right here. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I was looking. That's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
It's anyway. This is quite a way. I haven't heard the song, but it's a ways from the Old Town Road.
Descending into hell via stripper pole, where he proceeds to show Satan his best moves.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I don't know. There are some things I want to talk about next week about Biden again and how terrible he is, but we can save all that. Because Biden is neo-libbing all over the place.
Is he? Is he though? Is
Yeah.
he doing anything? Did you see?
Okay.
You saw that video I sent you with the hands clipping over the microphone. What did you make of that?
Where those like fake microphones?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like they showed another angle and it like looked like there were microphones there, but that video, those microphones look fake as fuck.
Yeah.
The one you sent me, like I can't.
That was not a real clip. And if they were like, "Oh no, this is a different angle," like, "Oh no, that was a different day," I don't believe you. Like, y'all are full of shit. That video that I sent you was fake as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't.
Maybe I'll put it in the description of this one so we can see. Viewers can see because I don't have it pulled up. It was on my phone, so.
Yeah, it'll take you a minute. All right. Well,
Anyway.
Until next week. Oh, hey, let me just say this. I am going to figure out how to stream. So our streaming time will be Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. I'm going to figure it out. And so if we do it, that's when it will be. Sunday, 8 a.m. So if you want to ask live questions, you want to watch this live, one day we're going to figure out how to do this.
It might be next week.
It might be next week if I can figure out how to work this shit. Anyway, so that's just wanted to talk about that. I'm probably, if I can figure out how to do it, I'm probably going to go live sometime today. And I'll let you know, just to do a little test run. Yeah. If I can get out of shed building for 20 minutes.
Good luck.
Yeah. All right.
All right, man.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of BroPartisan Hacks with Reese and Rob. We really, really appreciate you watching, tuning in. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to us. We're putting out content as often as we can. Share it with your friends. Get it out there. Get our names out there. Also, hit that bell, tap that bell right there so that you can get updated when we put out a new video. Rob and I are trying to pump these videos out as often as we can. However, we both have day jobs, we have families, so our schedules have to line up so that we can make a new video. Speaking of our day jobs, our opinions and views expressed are our own and in no way represent those of our respective employers. Thank you. Thanks again for watching.